Alright, so this is example exactly like you would see on the test at the end of this unit. So they give you a picture, there's two lines crossing, there's four angles, angle 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then they give you some information here on the right about a couple of the angles. They tell you the measure of angle 2 is 4x minus 60. So this is where they normally would just tell you how many degrees it is, but they're being annoying and giving you an expression rather than just a number. So what I do is over on the left, I actually write 4x minus 60 in the correct spot, so I don't lose track of where it's supposed to go. And then angle 4 is 2x. So I have information about angle 2 and angle 4. And if you remember from the last video, I'll just go back to that page right here. We have that picture right here at number 3, and it was either they add up to 180 or they're the same. And there's nothing else. There's nothing about 90 degrees. It's either they're the same or they add up to 180. And since these are vertical angles, they are across from each other, then they're the same. So you want to make sure you say that using an algebraic sentence. So you would say 4x minus 60 is the same as, and that right there that means the same as. So 4x minus 60 is the same as 2x. They're equal to each other. Once you have that set up, the rest of this problem is super easy. You just do a little bit of algebra. So we have an x on both sides, so that means we have to cancel one of them. I do not want to do this, because that will leave me with nothing over here on the right side. It'll be a big fat 0, and that's not something we want to do. So instead, we want to subtract 4x. And yeah, that'll give me a negative, but that's okay. So I'm left with a negative 60 here equals negative 2x divided by negative 2. The negative will go away anyways, and you get 30 equals x. So that's not telling us one of the angles, it's just telling us that the x from up here, and here, is 30. So then, that's all we had to do for part A. That was find x. Part B was to find the actual measure of angle 2. That would be this one right here. So what is this angle? Well, that angle is represented by 4x minus 60. And now I know x. So I know I can plug in 30 right here. So this would be 4 times 30 minus 60. 4 times 30 is 120. So we do 120 minus 60, which is 60. And usually the amount of degrees should make sense for the picture. And since this is an acute angle over here, that makes sense. 60 seems like a reasonable number. And then they ask you to find angle 1. They usually don't ask you to find the other angle. They like to throw in another angle that you didn't have any knowledge about. So if you look up here, there's nothing about angle 1 that we can use, except for the fact that 1 and 4 or 1 and 2 are supplementary. So if you take angle 2, which we now know is 60 degrees, so that's the measure of angle 2, and I add it with the measure of angle 1, which is what we want to find out, that should equal 180, because together these guys make a straight line. So really all I'm doing is taking 60 away from 180. And the measure of angle 1 equals 120 degrees. Which makes sense. Now I have 120 and 60. These two angles are supplementary, which means they should add up to 180. And they do.